This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man in the moon. You ruined it. When you coming home, son, I don't know when. We'll be together then. You know we'll have a good time then. I couldn't even say Baconsale or anything.
Oh, I'm just getting you back from ruining my Wonder Woman outro from the last show.
I think he was intimidated because you like nailed the note right there.
You really did.
And then Kim was like, crap, how do I go now?
I mean, I was like, I'm going to try to sound really good singing. Oh, here comes Joel, the singer.
No, I'm not a singer.
Oh, please.
I know.
Oh, please.
No.
Kim has all three of your albums. Don't even play it.
Welcome to Baconsale, everyone. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And Jacob.
Thank you for listening to our Wonder Woman show. We had a very lively discussion on our social media channels. If you're not following us on Twitter or Facebook, please do so because you missed out on a lot of fun stuff already, and you may miss out on stuff in the future. If you've got FOMO, follow us.
What? Oh no.
Fear of missing out.
Oh, I thought that was what my fungal cream was for. That's actually semi-true, but not about me. Yeah, FOMO sounds like a disorder.
It kind of does. But no, we had a great time, and Dr. Matt, he was trolling a lot of people online, which was a lot of fun.
Who knew Dr. Matt even followed us, and he jumped in and trolled everybody.
He was very entertaining. So yes, follow us on social media and also rate us and review us on iTunes. We got a couple more reviews. We're very happy to see that you guys are enjoying what we're doing. And also every time you rate us, it helps us appear in other people's feeds. It makes us more visible on iTunes. So please go out there and rate us and review us.
And we may even make mention of your review, but may not read it.
But regardless, it'll be something nice.
Yes, it'll be something nice.
So what?
Unless we make fun of it and then they take it down. So
I'm sorry again. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Are you?
Yeah.
That is really funny that happened in
Kent
retrospect.
2017 is sorry.
If you don't know what we're talking about, one time a listener, in fact, the listener, put up a
novel,
a very long review,
a very kind and thorough review,
a healthy, thorough review, and Joel read it, and Kent made fun of how long it was.
It was actually it was a bacon bit.
Just Kent.
It was a bacon bit length.
Go back and read the tape.
Did you make fun of it too?
I didn't. I was reading it and enjoying it, and then you two kept being like, "Oh, it's still growing."
That's crazy. That's only Kent's.
No.
Yeah, I think it was
actually. If it happened this year, though, because it happened last year. If it happened this year, you would have been the one making fun.
Yeah,
and I
would have been like,
"Oh,
the mummy sucks. Oh, I don't like anything. Blah blah blah. Wonder Woman isn't tall enough. Blah blah blah."
Jacob, why are you bashing on Wonder Woman?
This is what you said.
How dare you say that?
He actually does a really solid impression of you, just like he sings "Mbop" very well.
Anyway,
wait for the closing credits.
So, in honor of Father's Day, we have a special treat. In fact, this is a listener idea. And this is from Spencer Michael Myers, who said, "Can we settle the old playground bet of whose dad would win in a fight? Put together a tournament and put together a tournament bracket to the death of TV dads.
Only one dad will remain."
Bum, bum, bum.
As everyone will see from this show, not a lot of these men are fighters.
No, in fact, we had to.
Are they lovers?
How can they be lovers if they can't be friends?
One of these is a lover, but we're not going to get into that because we're going to separate the actor from the show.
Well,
no.
Anyway.
I thought you were just going to say somebody that had a lot of kids.
Stop. Family friendly, both of you.
This is the Brady dad.
So we got together some of the classic, greatest, worst TV dads out there.
Yeah.
But we realized that if we put someone like Jack Bauer or Ned Stark into this bracket, they would probably slaughter the others because they're not fighters. So we had to remove them. And in fact, we put them in a separate bracket for now. And we probably will do a bacon bit in the future of the fighting dads. But these are the more traditional fathers, sitcom dads, drama dads, that kind of thing.
So we were thinking about what would actually make these men fight. Because if they're put in the Hunger Games, it's like, fight. And a lot of them are like, I've lived a good life. I have a great family. My legacy will live on. But you know what's going to happen? You know what the twist is?
What?
They may die in this fight, but if they lose, their families will be killed.
Oh, whoa, that's dark.
It's dark.
That's dark.
Sure, and so not only... And
you want to be responsible for the death of Samantha? For Alyssa Milano's death.
And Jonathan. But Mona survives.
Does he count? Because Jonathan's not his kid.
This sounds like a What Would Baconsale Do episode.
It kind of does.
But it might get dark.
If you haven't heard any of our tournaments before, the way it works is we take these two
families
characters,
will die.
We take these two characters and we put them in a Hunger Games style dome where it's not a cage match. They're in a dome where there's like buildings or mountains or trees or whatever environment we put them in. And
the rules are flimsy.
They have to battle it out. Also, they're allowed to bring their accessories. Like if you were to buy the action figure of these dads, they don't exist, but if you were to buy the action figure of these dads, they would come with these accessories. So I don't know, like Archie Bunker would come with his chair or something like that, and things like that. So they will have somewhat weapons with them. They do have their
Tony
abilities.
Danza would have a broom or a mop.
Yeah, and someone
and a catcher's mitt.
and someone to hold him closer.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold me closer, Tony Danza. My voice cracked.
I think it's appropriate right there.
Thank you.
Especially since you want Tony Danza to hold
This is going to be a long show, so we need to get right into it. Actually, we're going to have these be timed battles because, man, we've had a lot of long battles in the past.
No, I was just listening to the Disney battle, and the Hopper situation came up, and it made me angry again. I don't think I should have listened to it.
So, no, I'm talking with some friends of mine, and their kids watching the Robin Hood, the cartoon version.
Right.
And I realized I haven't seen this in like 20 years, right?
You're going to change your vote to Prince
And I'm
John?
like, holy cow, watch this. And so they start mentioning something, and these other people are like, wait, didn't you just say you hadn't seen this? But I knew like Prince John and Sucks His Thumb and stuff like that. And they're like, how do you know that? And I'm like, oh, from Baconsale.
So you hadn't seen it.
Not for a long time.
And you still voted for Hopper over Prince John.
It was the discussion. It was much like tonight. You guys will give your arguments, and then I'll make a decision based on it.
I just want to pause your story. You don't know a lot of these dads, so it's going to be based on argument.
Yes.
It will.
We did talk about it, and since Jacob grew up Amish, did not have a television, he doesn't know a lot of these TV dads.
I just had better things to do than watch TV dads, I guess.
Like have a real dad.
Like have a real dad.
I had both.
Your two dads, TV dad and real dad.
My two dads. Yeah, it was a great show.
My point is, though,
we don't have either one of them on here.
Nope.
Oh,
I just need to get to this very like pointless dive or jab, not a dive. is I told the people about the Whopper or Hopper versus
Big Mac
versus the Big Mac. This is never going to work.
this is all going to get it
versus Prince John. Anyway, and they were like, "Oh, that makes sense that Hopper won."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Really? You think that? That is great."
No.
By the way, we will be having the listener submitted survey.
Yeah, soon.
Okay.
But we also wanted to say we whittled these down to 32 candidates. Like
so one show.
One show, we're getting this done. One show. That's why we're trying to be tight about this. And we may have not included certain dads, like the My Two Dads or George Jefferson didn't make the cut because Kent and I hadn't seen the Jeffersons, so we couldn't make a logical argument.
Right.
So, but we have done our research. I only have 15 pages of notes today.
4? Yep. Sounds about right.
So, Jacob, read them off and let's get this battle started.
All right. I am prepping our timer right now. You gentlemen will have 2 minutes.
Each?
No.
All together.
No. And so you'll have to move pretty fast. So we're going to cruise through these, and I will tell you when time's up. And are you ready?
Yes.
Excellent. Some person named Homer Simpson.
Heard of him from The Simpsons.
This is one I know.
Okay.
Versus Peter Griffin.
From
who
Family
I do
Guy.
not. Oh, right. Family
Yes,
Guy.
Family Guy.
We just barely watched the fight with
did.
them on
We
The
did.
Simpsons.
I didn't know his name.
And it took 10 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
So we have the original buffoon dad.
he was kind of based on other characters, but okay.
Well, I mean, of the cartoons that we know in our generation, and Peter Griffin, which copied directly from Homer Simpson and a million other characters as well.
So they were putting the ring together and they were about to fight, which we actually did just watch. If you haven't seen that Family Guy episode, when
Is it a Family Guy episode,
It's a
not Simpsons?
I believe it's a Family Guy episode when they go to Springfield.
Remember, you have 2 minutes.
Springfield. Wow. Okay, so Kent, who are you going with on this one?
I'm going Homer Simpson on this one.
Oh, we should also say if we agree, they move on. If we don't agree, Jacob has to be the judge.
And I will often only base these arguments or the decision based off their arguments if I do not know the characters.
So why do you say Homer Simpson?
They both have low intelligence, but Homer has had so many other jobs and so much more expertise. I will say Peter Griffin is skilled at fighting,
yeah.
but Homer has so many other skills.
Peter fights a chicken a lot in Family Guy.
And also, Peter Griffin, he would never save his family. He hates his son, and his catchphrase is, "Shut up, Meg." Shut up, Meg. He hates his daughter. He would never fight to save his family. Homer Simpson would by the end of the episode.
But he would fight for Lois. Maybe not for Stewie or what's his son's
but there's
name?
enough of
Brian.
his kids
No,
he'd be
not
fine
Brian.
with killing in order to save Lois. I think
can't remember
Homer
So
his
you're
son's
saying
name.
Peter's not adequately motivated to do this,
No, and
whereas
Homer
would
does.
be. Yeah.
There's always a nice
No,
sentimental
Homer
moment
is
at the end.
super devoted to his family. I think much more than Peter Griffin would be. So I'm also going to go with Homer Simpson. to
Peter
advance.
Griffin, what a terrible cartoon name.
Homer, you mentioned the jobs. Homer has held over 188 jobs in the first 400 episodes of The Simpsons.
400? That makes me shudder.
All right, up top.
All right. Homer's moving on.
Homer it is, with time to spare. All All right, next match is Ward Cleaver versus Archie Bunker.
So Ward Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver. Have you heard of that one?
I have heard of that one. I've not heard of Ward Cleaver. Ward
Cleaver's the dad in Leave It to Beaver. He's like the stereotypical 50s iconic TV dad. And then you get Archie Bunker, who's kind of the opposite of the stereotypical TV dad.
Ward Cleaver is great at moral lectures. He's a veteran of World War II. He's a member of a fraternity. He's handy with tools, and this is actually in the wiki. He occasionally dries the dishes for his wife as well.
Yes, it is. It said that. I have that same note.
Wait, which was Archie from?
He's from All in the Family, and that was the kind of counterculture thing where he's like this racist bigot. He's a lovable racist bigot, is what they describe him as.
The best kind.
That's why you love this show?
I haven't seen that many episodes, to be honest, but he's kind of stuck in his old ways, and then you have the kids who are kind of trying to pull him out, and he's very verbally abusive to his wife.
Also a veteran of World War II.
He is. And
he helps his wife dry dishes, though.
No,
Yeah.
Archie Bunker.
Oh, were you telling us already? Oh, crap.
Archie Bunker actually tells his wife, stifle yourself and dummy up.
Who are you going for, by the way?
I have to go Ward Cleaver.
Because his last name's Cleaver?
No,
about
because
1 minute.
he has a home office where he deals discipline. He has a den where he's able to. It's a hidden den where
That
he deals
is
discipline.
Kent brought up that he served in World War II. He was a construction worker in World War II. He didn't see any combat.
Wow, a soldier is a soldier, Joel.
But
He's a veteran.
No, but Carroll O'Connor, he actually saw action in World War II. So he was a fighter. And he's a blue collar family man. And he, a lot of times, he was also awarded the Purple Heart.
What does that have to do with Ward Cleaver?
Archie Bunker, because I think he's the fighter. And I think Archie Bunker's going to take this one. I think Archie Bunker was the one. He's more tough. He's more gruff. Ward Cleaver wouldn't want to get his shirt unpressed in a fight.
Ward Cleaver would roll up that newspaper that he always reads and use that like Jason Bourne because he has a complete level head and he would beat old Archie Bunker down.
All right, time's up.
Oh, God, that's very quick.
So Ward versus Archie.
Yes.
All right, I'm adding more time. Final arguments now.
Archie Bunker is rough with a temper, and he saw action as a World War II veteran.
And he sounds like kind of a mean dude.
Yes.
And Ward
And he's a-
Cleaver
he's a
is
hate-
Leave It
Ward
to
Cleaver
Beaver.
is a typical 50s dad. He's a misogynist with a level head. And he is a very built guy.
Level-headed
Blanket statements
misogynist.
for everybody.
Right. He's a huge guy. Archie Bunker is a small old man that would get beat easily
He's Carroll O'Connor. He's not a small old man. The guy's
with
big.
health problems.
Well, Ward Cleaver smokes a pipe every day.
Yeah, like a distinguished gentleman who is part of a fraternity and used to haze people.
No. He
Those are our final arguments.
All right, I'm going Archie Bunker on this one.
yes.
He sounds meaner.
He is
He is meaner. I just like Ward Cleaver. He's a
lovable
nicer
bigot.
dad.
He is a nicer dad. Sorry, Ward Cleaver.
All right, next match is Dan Connor.
From Roseanne.
Ah. Wait,
I love when you get the
what
realization like
actor?
that.
What actor is that?
John Goodman.
John Goodman. I was like,
Yeah.
that's I couldn't think of his name. And versus Philip Banks.
From the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Uncle Phil.
Oh, okay. See, I do know what's going on here.
Yeah.
90s sitcoms.
Yeah, and we use their full names on the bracket, which you can find at baconsale.com. We use their full names, but we're giving explanations to who they are.
So, Uncle Phil versus John Goodman.
So
Both bigger dudes.
they're both bigger.
Yeah.
This is kind of a powerhouse thing. This is going to be a feat of strength. I think. Dan is a loving, easygoing kind of guy. He's a drywall contractor, but he's also a sports fan, and he's a rough and tumble type guy. He likes fixing his motorcycle and playing poker with his friends. I think that Uncle Phil may be a little too preppy to win this battle, so I'm going with Dan.
You going with Dan?
I'm going with Dan.
I have to
Going
go
with
with
the construction
Judge
worker.
Philip Banks because once
Judge
he
Philip Banks.
Judge Philip Banks because he accidentally
because those robes make him a good fighter.
he accidentally sat on a rabbit, killing it, and he sat on his son. He sat on his nephew Will as a punishment. That is his finishing move. And he also says he hates his mother-in-law and he's glad that she's dead. I mean, this is a man with malice. He is ready to fight, and he loves his kids more than anything. The only thing that's able to calm Philip down is his wife Vivian, and depending
Which
on
one?
which actress plays him. But I think John Goodman's character is so nice. He's a tough guy, but he's so nice. Philip Banks is always hot-tempered.
Now, this is a story all about how Uncle Phil's going to get his trash turned upside down by Dan, by Roseanne's husband. I mean, who else? If he's able to build up a tolerance to being around Roseanne for that long, he's a fighter.
That's impressive. That's
It
true.
is. And John Goodman, come on, just look at John Goodman.
He's the nicest actor in Hollywood.
He's got a mean streak.
You know, Dan Connor.
Remember when he squished that frog in Brother
I
Where
would
Art Thou?
say he survived.
That was mean.
Yeah.
I would say Dan Connor survived Roseanne, which would be the worst thing ever. But he actually had a heart attack and died in the show. Health issues.
Did he though? Because they're reviving the show and they're
my
bringing John
gosh.
Goodman back.
I don't even want to think
Although
about
apparently,
to Roseanne.
That's
apparently, by the way, John Goodman, in the second to last season, he walked off the set because he was annoyed with her, and then he agreed to come back and get his character off the show. But then he agreed to come back, but he was on his way out near the end anyway.
So Judge Philip Banks, he's actually fine with capital punishment. He sent people to their deaths many times, and he'll do the same thing with Dan Connor.
Uncle Phil's primarily motivated by money. That's his deal. And so if there's no
Money
money
in the
involved,
law. He will lay down the law.
if there's no money involved, he's not going to do anything about
He
it.
already has money.
No, but that's the thing. He's greedy. He's characteristically greedy. Also,
Dan Connor is the nicest guy in the neighborhood. Everyone wants to be his friend. People want to stay away from Judge Philip Banks.
no, because the thing is also is he has punishments. Like the kids fear his punishments. It once took him 3 years to come up with a punishment. That's a long time to wait. And when
right.
you're in the ring, you're going to die. What was the
I've
time?
made my decision. I gave you extra time since there was the, conflict.
He likes the conflict.
All right. I'm going to say that Dan Connor would squish Philip Banks like that frog in his hand.
There's no way to squish
Also-
Philip Banks.
I cannot believe you didn't bring up that Uncle Phil is the voice of Shredder, and that
yeah.
and that he has a pool cue named Lucille.
Oh, I did not write that
Why did you
down.
bring up one of those?
That would have worked. That would have
I didn't do 15 pages of notes.
Goodbye, Philip Banks.
Also, for John Goodman's career, I don't think Philip Banks' sitting move or finishing move of sitting is going to
Now,
quite
Jake,
work.
if you will, don't just go with the character that you know.
I know
Go
both
with-
of them. I know both
Okay,
of them.
all right. You're like John Goodman in Big Lebowski. He could bowl.
Dan could bowl too.
Next
In
time
the
when
Flintstones.
I agree with you, Kent, Joel's going to say, "You always take his side."
You know he will.
You know me so well. It's no wonder I love you.
All right, next matchup is going to be first Herman Munster.
From the Munsters.
Yeah. And Gomez Adams.
From
the Adams family.
Yeah.
I know that because his last name's Adams.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and Herman Munster, you probably guessed that
I got
one too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, I never saw.
They do
Munster.
what they want to do. Say,
Say
what they want to say.
live how they want to live, play how they want to play, dance how they want to dance. I'm not going to do the whole
I
thing.
knew it. I knew you would know
The
it.
Addams family. Man,
That's crazy.
MC Hammer was cool.
He was so cool. He was too legit to quit, really.
He was.
till
That's
he
why we
quit.
pray.
Just to make it today. Wow.
Okay.
Wow,
So
indeed.
Herman Munster, he's actually a gravedigger by profession.
I ain't
I
saying
mean,
he's a gravedigger.
he's almost Frankenstein. He's kind of a buffoonish kind of Frankenstein character, very clumsy. Gomez Adams, he's an attorney, he's a schemer. He's married. He's like obsessed with Morticia.
I remember Gomez. I remember Gomez.
And he was played by John Astin.
Yes.
Who's actually Sean Astin's adoptive father.
Really?
Yeah. Kind of funny, that little connection there. All right, Ken, am I going first or you going first on this? I chose Dan last one, so I think it's your...
All right, Kent, let's hear it.
Look, I have actually good information. I don't have a horse in this fight, really.
That's why you got to pick one.
I will pick one. I have good information on both. I'm going to go with Gomez Adams over Frankenstein.
Please. Please.
Yeah, please.
You
Yes,
picked-
I will.
why?
You picked the wrong horse in this fight.
All right. I just think this would be a great match.
It would be a
because,
great match.
You know, Herman Munster, he is a buffoon. He's really naive, and he throws tantrums. He's almost unstoppable. And this is where Joel's going to go with this. Joel?
Yeah, he is. He's an unstoppable machine. The guy has had cars hit him multiple times in the series, and the cars get smashed up. He doesn't budge.
Really?
He's been struck by lightning multiple times in the show. Hasn't affected him. He
Isn't
can lift
Gomez
things
Adams
up.
like a real estate?
Yeah,
agent or
he
something?
got a lot of his money from investments and things like that, and he has lots of failed businesses and stuff. But yeah,
But in his wiki, he has a full enthusiasm for dreadful plots. Dun, dun, dun. And also, he's an accomplished juggler.
It'll say that on my wiki
Knife
one day.
thrower. He's athletic and acrobatic. So basically, we're talking stealth and speed versus a very large man. That's
Versus
also
a large
true.
undead
in the
man.
movie, like he throws
we're not going
knives and
movies.
stuff. Though
We're not going movies. We're going TV.
Well, same thing in
guys.
TV. No, it's the same effects. That's what they
Although
got.
I'm offended, by the way, you didn't use Herman Munster's full name. Herman Munster, 5th Earl of Shroudshire.
Oh, nice.
That makes him
Do you know
sound scarier.
Do you know
Got
what
nobility.
Gomez Adams has? He owns a crocodile farm and a buzzard farm, both of which mean death, even for Frankenstein.
All right, we're
Gomez
out of-
Adams spends $1,000 per month on cigars. The guy does not have the stamina he thinks he has.
All right, run out of time. So final arguments.
Final arguments is that Herman is incredibly strong. The guy lifted a solid demolition ball casually with one hand.
Yeah, how do you beat him, Kent? How does Gomez beat
Herman
Herman?
Munster is so dumb he wouldn't even know he's meant to fight. He would stand there until Gomez Adams got one of his crocodiles to chew him up.
No, because he knows that he's defending Lily, and he loves his wife. He loves his kids. He's devoted to them. Gomez Adams was sickly as a child. A sickly child.
Is that the
He's
wiki?
pretty pale.
Yes, it is. Until he met Morticia, and then he became in full
But
health.
we're basically talking a ninja from Transylvania against Frankenstein.
A ninja. I would watch that movie.
He's a crafty schemer.
I would watch the ninja from Transylvania.
He's an acrobat. He's not just going to it's basically Speed versus a rock. And I do think Speed would be able to take the rock out.
Joel, does Mr. Munster have a finishing, does he have a murderous way? Would he finish somebody off?
No, 'cause he's the nicest guy ever.
He is very nice, but he's also clumsy and ends up demolishing a lot of stuff on the show kind of accidentally. And I think Gomez Adams would kind of get around him and try to stab him with his rapier and things like that. And he would kind of let's not fight, and then give him a big hug. But let's just hug it out.
Now, you know what
Crush him.
happened?
Well, he can't really stab him if he can't be killed by a car.
A safe once fell on Munster's head and gave him amnesia.
Herman Munster, the 5th Earl of Shroudshire.
Gave him amnesia, and so Gomez Adams, because he's so scheming. This is where my argument is.
Herman Munster throws temper tantrums.
Okay, yeah,
he gets angry.
That actually doesn't work for him. He's so scheming that when Herman Munster gets amnesia, Gomez Adams would be like, "Hey, I'm trying to save my family here. Will you take one for the team?" And he'll be like, and he won't even remember he has a family to defend. Gomez Adams for the win.
I don't buy it.
Well, of course you don't. You're voting for the other side.
Well, Kent, you made a much better argument this time, but not quite good enough.
You always choose Joel.
It was really close, though.
Yeah.
You were trying hard. I was pretty much there. I was 90% there.
Devil's advocate.
Just that little bit.
This is nice.
I like all that effort. All right. Next match is Charles Pa Ingalls.
From Little House on the Prairie.
He has a gun.
I love when Jacob gets the realization. I know who that is.
Yeah, he has a hat.
That was
too.
actually your upbringing, though,
Also,
wasn't it?
long hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long, beautiful hair.
No, actually, in all seriousness, when I would watch that show, and I'd be
You
like,
watched Little House on the Prairie.
I saw it. Yeah. I mean, sometimes.
I like how
He lived.
He went from watched it to saw it.
this is-
Sometimes.
He lived Little House
This is
on the
actually
Prairie.
the joke. And I was like, what's so remarkable about this?
It's my everyday life.
All right. Versus Tim the Tool Man Taylor.
From Home
I
Improvement.
love how they both have nicknames.
I
That's
watched-
kind of why they got paired up.
I watched plenty of Home Improvement.
Also, I
You
wanted-
did?
Oh, yeah.
Blech.
But they wanted to. I wanted to pair these two up because it is old school farm versus new school technology.
Right. And by new school, you mean like Home Depot
Like
technology.
90s, yeah, essentially, yeah. But also, Charles Pa Ingalls is the only person in our bracket who's based on an actual person.
Aw.
I know, kind of weird. All right, Ken, is it my turn to go first?
Yes.
Then I've struggled with this one. This is actually one of
This
the big
seems
ones.
tough, actually.
It is, and I want to say, no. You know what? No, I'm telling you guys right now, Pa Ingalls would destroy Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Whoa.
Tim is a buffoon. Tim is clumsy. Tim. Okay, when I talked about the action figures that you would come with accessories, Pa Ingalls would probably come with a shotgun and a bear trap. Tim would end up in the bear trap in the first 5 minutes, and the shotgun a few minutes after that would be in his face.
I can't believe you're saying that.
It's the
He's
pioneer
so
spirit.
good with a nail gun.
He did a 21 nail gun salute and almost killed himself.
Oh, yeah. I actually looked up some Home Improvement clips, and all that came up were him, Tim the Toolman Taylor, electrocuting himself. That's all I could find. It's
So
just,
are you going?
I have to go paw. I have to go paw on
Oh
this
my
one.
gosh, Tim Taylor Taylor
Oh,
get eliminated?
easily.
Really?
He
The
is
guy's a
man's
survivor.
man.
Well, what Tim the Toolman Taylor builds a giant lawnmower and just runs over.
Here's
it.
what would happen. Right, he has an edge because he has a very wise neighbor, and he'd say, "Hey, Wilson, what should I do to beat Pa Ingalls?" And Wilson would be like, "Well, actually," and he'd give him some great advice. But as in every episode, Tim would mangle the advice and lose and cause himself harm and probably end up killing his own family himself.
Pa Ingalls is an accomplished hunter trapper, and if he's in this Hunger Games scenario in the woods,
Well, in 1860, he is.
right. And Tim may have an edge with some of the tools,
Or
but
40 or
I don't
whatever
think
he is.
I think that Tim's going to hurt himself with his own tools. Honestly,
Absolutely, I'm right there with you.
So we're going to agree.
Yep.
Pa Ingalls. Wow, I didn't actually anticipate that.
I did not
me
either.
getting a pass with that.
Oh, come on.
I felt like there was a good argument there.
It's okay. Everyone can agree with me that show. I'm okay with that. You can make it for all those times you picked Kent in the past shows.
All right, next match then. There's just jokes coming.
We're just doing the characters. Preface.
So you know what's coming.
Preface. We're just doing the characters.
First is Dr. Cliff Huxtable
From The Cosby Show.
the gynecologist, and Dr. Jason Seaver.
From Growing Pains. Show me that smile again.
Show me that smile.
Don't waste another minute on your cry. Best TV theme song ever.
Wait, as long as we have each other. I just want you to go, ooh.
I've done that in a bunch of other shows.
Yeah, you have.
Your 2 minutes has started.
No,
Cliff Huxtable.
So Cliff Huxtable is an OBGYN. Dr. Seaver is a psychiatrist. Both of them do home practices, though. They do their practice at home.
Dr. Cliff Huxtable, he loves jazz music. He's honestly probably one of the best TV dads there are. He served in the Navy. He's a dedicated father. And the only thing I have about Jason Seaver is that he's a stay-at-home dad.
He took in homeless Leonardo DiCaprio and raised him like his own son.
But look, Dr. Huxtable takes in many kids because you never know who's part of the regular cast because people keep coming in and out. It doesn't even matter.
He can strangle him with a sweater.
He has like 9 grandpas that show up at one point, and they all play jazz.
But he's Alan Thicke.
Oh,
Dr. Seaver's Alan Thicke.
He is Alan Thicke.
I'm having a hard time with this one, but I feel like Dr. Jason Seaver, I'm going to call him Dr. Jason Seaver, as a psychiatrist, he would try to talk his way out of the situation, where I feel like Dr. Cliff Huxtable may be really good with anesthesia. I don't know. And he also...
Wow. Joel,
was that on purpose?
Of all people.
It was. We were all thinking it.
We're not saying it, though.
I'm talking as a doctor. Dr. Cliff Huxtable would have probably a better medical knowledge of the human body and where he could hurt Dr. Jason Seaver. I'm giving this one to Dr. Cliff. Why am I going first? But I'm giving it to Dr. Cliff Huxtable.
I have to give this one to Jason Seaver because I'd rather talk about him in following rounds. Dr. Seaver,
but actually, it's the character. It's not.
I
the
wanted to
actor.
actually wanted to know more about the character, so I looked up Growing Pains episodes, and in almost every episode, he is fighting to stay with his wife and family because there is always turmoil between the couple, between he and Maggie. And so I think because he fights so hard to be in the family, to stay married, to stay in the family, he will fight to the death and save himself and his family.
You know who his son is, right? Robin Thicke?
No, his son is Kirk Cameron.
If you're bringing in
look,
Dr. Cliff Huxtable.
Are we separating real life from TV?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So his real son is not.
You brought
Robin
in the history of Bill Cosby.
No, you did.
You don't want to talk about him.
You did.
I was talking about his practice.
Yeah, right. But I'm saying he honestly, in almost every episode, he fights to stay with his family when, honestly, it should probably crumble, that he would fight to the death to keep them together.
Yeah, but how does he win?
Talk him to death.
He's going to talk him to
Yeah,
death?
he'll size him up.
Kent, I'm going to agree with you, and not because you have the better argument, but because I also do not want to talk about Dr. Cliff Huxtable.
Can we all do a high five on that?
No, because we didn't agree, but I do feel bad. No, and this is true. This is how I feel. I feel bad that his real life reputation has tainted a great moral TV dad character.
One of the best 80s TV shows.
You can't look at Cliff Huxtable anymore and be like, I respect that guy, because it's just like,
Yeah.
Next match is Sheriff Andy Taylor.
From the Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah.
You know
I knew
that one,
Jacob?
Jacob?
I was whistling along.
I love it. I just pictured you guys. This is what you guys are going to be like in the nursing home when we're recording this. When we're all 89, and Joel,
remember?
Joel's still going to be really peppy.
Andy Griffith Show.
And Jake will be trying to talk, and they'll just telling us. Okay. Yes, you can whistle.
Can you guys whistle in and out, or just in?
That was in. Out.
Mine's out.
I can go either way.
All right. That's enough.
We just spent 2 minutes on whistling.
No, wait, the timer didn't start, did it?
No, I don't start till I finish the
Oh, yeah,
intros.
we haven't got to the second person
Yeah,
yet.
Andy Taylor versus Keith Mars. I know who that is.
From Veronica Mars.
Yeah.
So 2 sheriffs. So Andy Griffith.
Why didn't you say Sheriff Keith Mars?
Because he's not a sheriff at the beginning of the show. He's been disgraced and
disgraced
ended up being a
sheriff.
private investigator. But they were both
Or
sheriffs.
PI.
So Kent, you need to go on first.
Yeah, Kent, let's hear it. He went Huxtable last time. So.
I want to give
Don't
it a
say that.
Yeah, I could say a lot of things there. I want to say Sheriff Andy Taylor because he served as a sergeant in France. He's a very dependable man. He honestly is the sheriff for not only the city, but the whole county. He's basically the only cop, and he always has like a bumbling sidekick, right? He also served as Justice of the Peace.
It's not a bumbling sidekick.
But
It's the bumbling sidekick.
The bumbling sidekick.
Like, there's no
exactly.
more famous bumbling sidekick, is there?
Right. He actually has two because someone takes over for Don Knotts later in the show. Yeah, it's true.
Really?
Yeah, and
Is
he's actually
it Lowell from Wings?
no.
Remember they tried to replace him at the end of Wings? That was terrible.
But Keith Mars, I don't think like PRs are super tough, but man, this guy is
PRs?
so PIs.
He said
Yeah,
PRs.
Yeah, PRs.
Magnum PR.
I'd watch that show, honestly. That's a very millennial show right there.
That is.
So he is very protective of Veronica. He's trained in handgun usage. He's a tracker, bounty hunter. And here's where he would get Andy Taylor, because there's always the mystery surrounding who is Opie's mom. And Andy is very discreet about it. He doesn't want to talk about it. But Keith Mars is good at performing background checks. And he would basically say, I have found Opie's mother, and I'm going to spread it to the world.
Oh, okay. I thought where you were going with that, because you want to kill off their family.
No, I'm going to spread it to the world, and Andy Taylor will basically, be a victim to this. Like, he will be very weakened based on this information, or he'll be in a place in precarious situation. Keith Mars for the win.
All right, Joel.
I am going to disagree with this one, because I feel like Andy, being the good sheriff, the moral sheriff, he knows what to do and when to do it. I mean, he fired his gun twice during the entire run of the Andy Griffith Show.
Who did
That really helps your argument.
He shot a car tire once, and then he talked about shooting a robber, but I don't even think that happened on screen.
No.
He didn't have a gun belt most of it, but he does know how to use firearms. I feel like, though, that he is the more experienced if they're, fighting in the wooded area, Hunger Games style thing. I think it says here as part of his bio, Andy regularly uses reverse psychology on people, making them see the error of their ways. And then also, Andy has a keen eye for booby traps and often shielded Barney from both career and social landmines.
Social landmines.
So I think
So you can't say landmines like it gives it like some weight.
Landmines.
no, he says career and social landmines. It's both of them. And probably real landmines, but he has an eye for booby traps. It says that there, so there's nothing Keith can do.
Figurative booby
in there.
traps.
No, real booby traps in that one.
He could build real landmines, not social or figurative.
All right.
But you can't, like, he accidentally shot a tire and talked about shooting a guy once, whereas there's a guy who is trained in handgun usage, will do anything to protect his daughter, even though,
accusing
spoiler
the wrong
alert,
man.
Right. He will do anything to save his family, even if it's the wrong thing. He will kill.
And I do
Taylor.
highly respect Keith Mars for staying in town when he was completely just trashed. His reputation was gone. He stayed around, and that's reputable. But against a tried and true sheriff who goes fishing with his boy Opie, he's not going to stand a chance.
All right.
So, I mean, in the real world, if they were like in the city and Keith Mars was hunting Andy Taylor would be dead, I think, pretty fast. If we're in the woods of some dome,
Who has a gun?
No, but
Jake, who has a gun?
Keep in mind, the Hunger Games can happen. Like, it can be a city in the dome too. Like
Andy Taylor's character, his toy was made in the 1960s, does not come with a gun because that would be offensive. Keith Mars would come with a gun and a magnifying glass.
Would he?
Yes. Because
No.
he's trained in handgun usage. You said yourself, Andy Taylor does not have a gun with him
A
for
lot
most
of the time.
series.
Right.
so what I was going to say is
It's a
that
vintage action figure though from the first
Yeah,
season
so
when they had the gun.
They would not release that because that toy was released in the 60s.
So Kent, what I was going to say is that it was still Keith Mars.
Okay. I was like, I will fight for this.
It was closer in the woods, I think, but still
I
Keith
want
Mars.
Matlock to die.
We used to be friends, Ken.
I want Matlock to die.
We used to be friends a long time ago.
I'm surprised you went against Keith Mars. You were the one that had me watch Veronica Mars.
So good.
It is quite
It
good.
is good, yeah. And
Well, first season's amazing.
First season.
First season's amazing. Second season's good. Third season's not that great.
terrible.
It's kind of like
Terrible.
follows the same thing as Lost or Prison Break.
Or
It
Twin
does.
Peaks.
No, it goes down way
Yeah,
faster.
it does.
Lost is better.
Keith Mars is a shrewd dude.
I like it. You're like, but in the woods, still Keith Mars.
You know that pause made Kent and I go off for another 2 minutes.
Oh yeah. Jake.
All right, next match is Phil Dunphy
From Modern Family,
versus Al Bundy,
from Married with Children.
the serial killer. What?
No, that's Ted Bundy.
Oh, Ted Bundy.
And these ones I put together because I like the idea of, if you haven't seen Modern Family, Ed O'Neill, who plays Al Bundy, is in Modern Family as Jay's father-in-law, and he's always trying to get the respect of him. And I thought, wouldn't that be fun if a younger Jay was fighting Phil? So that's kind of what it is.
Kind of
but
what
not really.
happens?
Yeah, kind of, but not really. Because
All right.
Jay was affluent when he was a kid, and Al Bundy's poor. So I'm going
All right.
first on this
Yep,
one.
2 minutes to start it.
Phil is going to be a reputable foe because he's
got reach. He's got the long arms.
He's got skill in a horseback and with the shotgun. It's shown in the show. He was a cheerleader at Fresno State, but he also suffers from colorophobia.
I've already forgot what he's from.
A Modern Family.
Oh, Modern Family. That's right.
He's afraid of clowns. And
Really
what is
afraid of clowns.
What is Al Bundy than a big clown?
But he's not a literal clown or
He's
a
not.
social landmine
but,
clown.
But Al Bundy
Figurative landmines.
he's just a mean man. And Phil Dunphy is always trying to be the nice guy and trying to do magic tricks and trying to be nice.
Is there an option here where they run into each other, they hit each other in the head, and they both fall dead?
No.
Whoa.
Should be. That'd be interesting.
That's really mean.
That's mean, Jacob. How
Yeah.
dare you? How dare you? Anyway.
All right, what's your pick?
My pick is Al Bundy. I think he's not... Phil Dunphy is actually really... I like him as a character. I actually think he's a very good modern TV dad character and very entertaining. But he's kind of an idiot and a goofy idiot, not like an idiot like Al Bundy. And I think Al Bundy has the meaner streak, and he's going to get...
These seem
Phil
really
Dunphy in a headlock.
comparable people, actually. So
Yeah, thank you.
Al Bundy hates his family.
On the outside.
Hates his family.
No, he's done a lot to say he hates them, but then when the chips are down, he'll defend his family.
No, this isn't Homer Simpson.
He does, though.
Hates Peg.
When he comes into money, he ends up spending it on his wife and kids, and he likes them to be
What,
happy.
like in a season finale?
He's had to defend.
He spends probably 99 of 100 episodes hating his family.
He defends Kelly, he defends Bud, and he defends Peg.
The man is so lazy, his trademark is sticking his hand down his pants while he's watching TV. Phil Dunphy, you know what he would do? He'd be like, hey, Al, I'm a realtor. Come check out this house. But this house is a house of horrors, and it is filled with social landmines.
You know what?
Figurative landmines.
You know what Phil Dunphy does? He practices parenting. It's acting like a peer to your kids.
And he's a great dancer. He knows capoeira. I'm sure he knows capoeira.
Phil Dunphy?
Yep.
He doesn't know capoeira.
He would sure try.
He doesn't know capoeira. He does magic tricks.
I honestly think this is a dad who loves his family, even though he's a doofus, versus a lazy dad who is a shoe salesman and hates his family.
He doesn't hate his family.
He does too. Have you watched the show?
I don't think you watched it.
You
deep
weren't
enough.
allowed to watch the show when you were a kid.
Love
Man,
and
neither of you have
marriage.
made very
love
convincing
and
arguments.
Marriage. Al Bundy has survived falling off his roof while installing a satellite dish, getting shocked by that same dish, and being pulverized by a massive woman wrestler in Las Vegas, and jumping from an airplane without a parachute, and surviving a huge explosion
I'm sorry,
when he
jumped out of an airplane without a parachute?
Yes, and survived an explosion when he
survive that?
accidentally detonated dynamite in his own yard trying to kill a rabbit.
Also pretty good.
He survived all of that. Phil Dunphy passed out when he saw blood.
Actually, the same thing. That was the same thing on the wiki. He just read the Phil Dunphy wiki.
No, I did not.
I can just say things and make them true.
Al Bundy has leadership skills. He organized No Ma'am.
Look, so I don't even know. Here's the thing. I think this all comes down to, would Al Bundy want to live anymore in this life? He has a depressing life. He doesn't care whether he lives or his family lives. Phil Dunphy would at least fight.
Al's talents include bowling, barbecuing, and getting into and winning fistfights. That's in his bio.
Oh.
When have you ever seen him on the show get into and win a fist fight?
I wasn't allowed to watch
with
it.
Bud, his son? No, with Bud, his
with the
son.
dog.
He probably fought. Yeah, he probably fought his dog or his son.
All right. It's Al Bundy.
Yeah, I'm actually okay with that. I just like Phil Dunphy a lot more.
I like Phil Dunphy. I really do.
I think Phil would try more for his family, but I think Al would probably just want to win regardless.
He wanted his glory days back.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
All right, next match is Ray Barone versus
From Everybody Loves Raymond.
yeah.
Ray Ramon.
Raymond,
David.
Ma. That was
What are we doing?
that was Dorothy from Golden Girls. Ma, Raymond.
Against?
Very similar. All right, versus Frank Costanza. This is George's dad, I guess.
Yeah, from Seinfeld.
You guess.
Am I going first on this one or you? You're going first. Yeah.
And timer starts.
All right, Ray Barone, he's pretty infantile. He has a neurotic personality, and he lives in the fear of his mother. Frank Costanza, he served in the Korean War, but he was an army cook, and he is fluent in Korean and a former Christian artifact salesman. I have no horse in this race whatsoever.
Yeah.
You got to pick one.
It's like vanilla flavor versus vanilla flavor.
I have to go Frank Costanza because he did beat George once and put him in a coma.
Yep.
And he knows feats of strength.
That's what I was going to say is due to the commercialism of Christmas, Frank Costanza created Festivus, where he has feats of strength and he has a metal pole, which would probably come with him. He's going to beat Ray with that metal pole. Raymond is going down.
I hate Raymond.
Raymond.
Everybody hates Raymond.
No, everyone hates Chris.
Oh, okay. It's another show I didn't watch.
All right, next match is Ted Mosby.
Mosby from How I Met Your Mother.
Or Everybody Loves Raymond the younger years.
Versus Mike Brady.
From the Brady Bunch.
Right, he's not the fighter, he's the
lover.
That's it.
So Ted Mosby, played by Josh Radnor and Bob Saget, actually, at the end there.
Oh, hey.
Oh, that could be fun. I could see, like, at the end, like, you know, after Ted Mosby dies, like, Bob Saget comes in as, like, a second wind. But I think Mike Brady, he is a widowed architect, and he has firm integrity and enjoys fishing and camping. And I think that Mike Brady is the better fighter because Ted Mosby can't decide what he wants and makes bad decisions all the time.
Also, the finale was bad, so you hate him and want him to die.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Ted Mosby, he'll just try to talk someone to death. He loves also collecting coins.
Maybe that's what he'll do is he'll say,
Renaissance
he'll
fairs.
say, Mike, let me tell you a story about a man named Brady. No, he'll tell him a story and then he'll do it for like
7 seasons.
7 seasons, and then he'll die of boredom at the end.
And you know what? Mike Brady would listen because he's a very patient father. And so, yeah, Mike Brady would kill him.
Mike Brady.
Here's the story of a lovely lady.
All right, next match is Tony Michelli.
Misselli.
Who's what
the
I
boss?
said. Oh, that's Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's Tony.
Versus George Bluth Sr.
From Arrested Development.
Ah. All right.
I love it. I love how when I say that, Jacob's like, oh, yeah.
Tony Michelli is the former second baseman for the St. Louis Cardinals.
He wins. What?
Oh,
You're
I
a Cardinals
see.
fan?
No. Well, yeah.
Jake, remember?
That's where I'm from.
Remember?
Yeah.
Jake likes sports.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I say that with quote marks. Yeah, exactly. George Bluth Sr., on the other hand, well, he's devious.
He's escaped so many times.
Man, I really hate to do this, but George Bluth Sr. is going to murder Tony Michelli.
I disagree.
Okay, why?
Because I feel like...
Who can kill Tony Danza?
Well, George Bluth is good at running away. Very good at running away. Very good at disguises. But I think Tony Michelli, who comes with the St. Louis Cardinals baseball bat and a mop, is going to find George Bluth Sr. in his spider hole, wherever he's hiding, and he's going to beat him to death. Also, spoiler alert for Arrested Development, it turns out in the end that it was Lucille who was pulling all the strings, not George. George was a puppet in Lucille's hands. Therefore, Tony Michelli's going to take it.
George Bluth Sr., he spent a year in prison. He knows what he's doing. In fact, he will find the weakness of Tony, who had to retire from baseball due to a shoulder injury. George Bluth Sr. would use that against him. In fact, he has so many weapons. He has the cornballer. Right?
The cornballer.
He has a
So
cornball.
loco por los cornballs.
Actually, he is a known...
The cornballer is like a deep frying thing.
He is
A deep fryer?
It's a deep fryer that you always burn yourself on. So
Yeah, like it's oil going everywhere. And Tony would try to clean it up, and he would keep spraying burning oil on him. Also, he is known as a serial poisoner. His serial killer name was the Muffin Man, because he would use muffins, and Tony is a Manny. He would use muffins to intimidate and threaten his kids' teachers.
I remember.
There is a devious mind versus a great man. I love Tony. I wish
Who
he'd
would
win.
fight.
But
George
for me,
Bluth
it
wouldn't
is a
fight for his
man.
family.
Yeah, he'd fight for himself, and he always did. In fact, he would use his brother as a disguise if he ever needed to.
Kent.
Even if Tony thought he won and he killed someone,
Kent.
it would not be George Bluth Sr.
Kent.
Yeah,
I remember a very
Joel.
special episode of Who's the Boss when Tony accidentally mixed bleach and ammonia, and some fumes came up, and then he has a whole kind of dream episode where he's living an alternate life. I think he knows how to mix chemicals. He's a household cleaner.
He didn't know how to. He accidentally did.
He learned.
passed
He
out.
learned his lesson, and he's going to use chemical warfare on George Bluth Sr. and destroy
you know what he
him.
did?
Chemical warfare is what the sports player uses?
Because he knows how to use cleaning agents.
Why doesn't he just use the bat?
Because he's gonna he's pouring the ammonia and the bleach down in the spider hole to kill George Bluth Sr. And then when he comes out, it's like a groundhog.
That's a reach. It's a big reach. He accidentally poisoned himself.
Every one of these is a reach.
So a guy who poisoned himself and a guy who pours hot oil on him while he's down
No, George Bluth burned himself many times in the cornballer.
and still kicking.
Is it him or is it his
You never
his
know
brother
because
Oscar?
he uses his brother as a decoy.
I can't. Well, here's the thing, right? They're in a dome. They know they're fighting each other. I think Tony takes it.
Yeah, that was silly. My argument's way better. The Muffin Man.
Yeah, but you're talking
Do
about
you know
strategy.
the Muffin Man?
Like your whole strategy was based on Tony not knowing it was coming, but they do know it's coming. It's a death match. They both know. Like he can't sneak. He can't be.
Yeah, but
he
you
can't
didn't
be
talk about his
sneaky.
weakness. Like George Bluth would expose, like a wrestler would, his shoulder injury. He would do anything to harm
Okay,
his
so
shoulder.
we decided we're going to the fast clip.
Yeah, let's
Move
do it.
on.
Let's do it.
All right, next match is Carl Winslow.
Carl from Family Matters.
Ah.
That was Urkel
Mine was Urkel.
versus Danny Tanner.
from Full
Oh,
House.
I don't.
Do 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 do. What was that? All right. Dun, 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 dun.
It's a rare condition.
In this day and age.
I always get those two songs confused. Anyways, we got to move.
Right.
Carl Winslow, his initials are Cow, actually. Just wanted you guys to know that.
Oh, he loses then.
Carl, you go first on this one.
Carl is an officer for the Chicago Police Department. Danny Tanner is a sports broadcaster and he's a co-host on Wake Up San Francisco. Danny Tanner doesn't have the fight in him that Carl Winslow does. We saw what he could do in Die Hard. Therefore, I'm giving this one to Carl Winslow.
What did he do in Die Hard?
He
sat
stayed
outside
on the
building.
radio.
He stayed on the radio.
I think that Carl Winslow has a short temper, whereas Danny Tanner is more obsessed with keeping everything neat and tidy. I think he may be a little OCD, and I think all it takes is a little dirt on his pants, and then he's going to be trying to clean that off. And Carl's going to come up behind him and Urkel him.
Urkel him.
He's going to Urkel him?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
That's what
Ask
you're
your
gonna
next
find
date.
out.
I do that? I'm so sorry, everyone.
As his body's laying there on the floor.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate like I have been all show. Yes, I think Carl Winslow, he's got the weight.
Sorry,
and
you have to
everything.
make the rest of the argument in the Urkel voice. So.
No. Danny Tanner. Anyways,
that
was
Pat?
awful. Yeah, it was Pat. Here's the thing. Danny Tanner's tagline is clean is good, dirt is bad. And here are his interests. Cleaning, organizing, playing guitar, but here's where it gets interesting. He went to college on a billiard scholarship, and he is great at darts. So, he will actually be like, Carl Winslow will be
That's
like,
great, because if Carl's wearing a dartboard on his back, this will really be handy.
yeah, you can't hit someone in the eyes with darts, right?
Is he going to come with darts?
The bigger they are, the harder
gonna
they
come
fall. And you know what else is bad for your eyes? Lemon Pledge. And that is Danny Tanner's favorite scent, and that is on his wiki. He will spray it in the eyes and use a pull cue to impale him, and he will beat Carl Winslow. He is the underdog here, and I think he'll win.
I remember and this is a very special
episode
of Family Matters where Carl talks about, and I don't think I'm making this up. I have this memory of it, but that Carl Winslow.
I feel like this is made up.
No, tell me if you remember this, where he talks about it doesn't happen on the show, but he talks about how in his past he had to shoot a kid, like not a kid, but like a teenager, because it was a situation where he ended up shooting him. It was like this special, gun safety episode or something like that. Do you remember anything like that?
Not at all. I think you made it up.
No.
But I do remember a very special episode of Full House where they actually talk about how Danny accidentally killed his wife, the mother of Stephanie, DJ, and Michelle.
No.
Oh, if you're going to pull out
If you're going to
random
make
stuff,
up things, you just say he accidentally murdered a troop of Marines because he
because that's what he
secretly
did.
blah, 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 blah.
Because
Yeah.
Pam actually died in a car accident caused by a drunk driver.
I just feel like we should have a little bit more fun with this. And I'm
By
saying
talking
it
about
is-
people dying in drunk driving and gun safety?
I'm saying the underdog takes it because he is underestimated. Lemon Pledge for the win.
No, he's Bob Saget versus Reginald Val Johnson.
Aren't you the
Syllables
one-
alone, Reginald Val Johnson wins.
All right.
The cow versus the underdog.
I think Bob Saget would probably have a stroke the moment that there was even a fight presented.
Have some fun with it, Jake. I don't think you picked me once on this show.
I have.
I should stop playing devil's advocate on
He's
this.
making up for lost time.
Huxtable. No.
Uh-oh. Someone got anesthesia.
Whoever he was against. You won that one.
That was Bill Cosby.
Yeah, Jason Seaver.
These are the two of the most classic dads, though. I'm glad they
I
went
know.
toe to toe. But Carl wins.
Red Foreman
From That 70s Show,
versus Don Draper.
from Mad Men.
He doesn't seem to fit the rest of these. So.
Don Draper.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most of them are like sitcom dads.
Yeah.
There's
Don
some-
Draper's one of the most selfish people on TV. Maybe the most selfish man on TV.
I might agree with that. Who you going with, Kent?
So Red Foreman
Timer
is
starts.
a World War II veteran and a Korean War veteran. Don Draper is a Korean War veteran, and he is willing to do whatever he can. He grew up as a pickpocket. He cares little for anyone else. But
Wait, who? Don Draper.
Don Draper is the most self-serving on the list. I love Red Foreman. He's a great TV dad, but he actually has really bad health problems, and that became a big plot line later in the show. And so I have to give it to Don Draper because he's so freaking malicious. I love Red, and I think he's a tough guy, but it's his age versus selfishness.
And these two are paired together because it was the ultimate in suave versus the ultimate in non-suave.
Right.
Because Red Foreman's not really known for being very smooth. But if it was Don Draper against Clarence Boddicker from RoboCop, I would think Don would be in trouble because that's the same character. Kurtwood Smith played both characters. But not a lot of people know this, and if you haven't watched Mad Men, this is a bit of a spoiler, but he's not really Don Draper. Don Draper has a hidden past. His real name is Dick Whitman, and he stole the identity of someone else during the war because he accidentally killed him. And he killed Don Draper. And so this is a whole thing
Spoiler alert for a show no one should ever watch.
Yeah. But he has this whole past where he was raised by an alcoholic father, an abusive father. Like he's a survivor. And
He grew up on the streets.
He'll do what he has to survive. And I think I agree with Kent. This is going to be Don Draper.
Don Draper. What on earth is this?
Something's dying.
Mad Men's theme song.
Next match is Stephen Keaton
From Family Ties.
versus Sandy Cohen.
From the show that Kent loves and wants to marry.
Kent wants to marry Sandy Cohen.
The OC. He talked about that on the TV show and how much he loved the pilot.
They probably win the song, though.
Oh, absolutely.
No, because I'll tell you what, no other TV theme song has a sha-la-la-la at the end of it like Family Ties. What will we do, baby, without us? Sha-la-la-la!
Man, you really went there.
And this is hippie versus hippie is what it comes down to. Because Family Ties, the whole thing is about these two hippie parents who've now grown up and all their kids are yuppies. And it's hippies versus yuppies. Whereas Sandy Cohen, he's a lawyer, but he's a surfing lawyer.
Oh, a surfing lawyer. All right, 2 minutes.
You can't
Let's
call him
hear
a
it.
lawyer. I'm going to go with Sandy Cohen on this one. He's a public defender in urban areas, and so he knows what it's like. So he's in the OC, but he's actually the one. He grew up in the Bronx, and he knows he doesn't belong there. And he survived he survived an earthquake, and he's also saved many others. And so I think this hippie is going to take down the other hippie, who honestly I couldn't even find any information because there's really not much about him.
Played by Michael Gross, though.
Sure.
We love Michael.
Who was in Tremors.
Yeah. But we're going with TV shows
Yes.
here. I'm going to agree with Kent, even though I really don't want to fight for Sandy Cohen. I think against Stephen Keaton, the traditional dad. And my only real memory of Stephen Keaton was when he was making his kids use the power. Like he holds up, he's like, "Do what this is, kids. This is the power build." So he makes them not use lights. And so he doesn't have a lot of skills.
Yep.
Sandy Cohen, rough and tumble.
So, Kent.
And he's the guy from Shoot, While You Were Sleeping. He's the guy that was in a coma.
Yep.
Sandy
Eyebrows.
Cohen.
I call him eyebrows.
Eyebrows.
Kent, anytime I think, I'm probably going to agree with Kent on this one, then Joel agrees with you before I have a chance. So.
Liar.
Sure, let's say that.
Liar. You always pick me.
All right, next match is Rob Petrie
From Dick Van Dyke Show.
versus Hal Wilkerson.
Wilkerson.
I can read it. I just can't say it.
It's okay
weird.
because actually
Wilkerson.
on the entire series of the show, they never really said their last name. In fact, that became a running gag. That's from Malcolm in the Middle. Like even at the end when they announce Malcolm on the finale at the graduation thing, they're like Malcolm, and then they feed back when they say their name. But yeah, they don't ever really say his name. But then if you look around, you can see it. Okay, is the timer started?
Timer is on. Let's hear it.
So this is physical comedy versus physical comedy. Dick Van Dyke Show, very famous for him tripping over the ottoman or stepping around the ottoman.
He's clumsy.
He is, but Dick Van Dyke is a physical comedian. And Hal Wilkerson, played by Bryan Cranston, is also a very physical comedian. However, he is also very, very skilled. You probably should go. Oh, no, you would first and last.
It's going to be hard to beat Walter White, really.
Except he's not
But it's
Walter
not Walter
White.
White.
That's on our different bracket.
We're like, no.
It's hard to get that out of your head, though.
But Lois is kind of a calming agent to him, but when Lois is not around, he becomes a crazy man, including...
What kind of crazy man?
Well, he does drinking, he's smoking, and then also he builds a killer robot
Yep, I have that
shoots
too.
bees.
He builds a killer robot?
Yes.
All right, that's going to
That
be
shoots
tough.
bees.
Are you
He also-
disagreeing with this one?
Could you imagine Dick Van Dyke seeing a killer robot in the 1950s?
He also has some unusual hobbies like roller skating. He's a fantastic roller skater. He's a fantastic bowler. He has really good hairdressing skills, and he's also great at speed walking.
Speed walking?
Yes.
Man,
he is
these guys
afraid.
do not do much.
He is terrified of monkeys, snakes, and clowns. But I do believe Hal is going to take this one. And for the record, he's one of my favorite TV dads ever.
Aw, that was sweet. Yeah, it's Hal for the win.
Yeah.
Yes, no, maybe. I don't know.
All right, next match, George Jetson
Meet George Jetson.
versus Fred Flintstone.
Yabba dabba doo. George Jetson from the Jetsons, Fred Flintstone from the Flintstones.
Yeah.
I guess we got to say that, don't we?
So George Jetson, he likes danger. He used to fly to get to school. He used to fly through 10 miles of asteroid storms every day.
Uphill, both ways.
No, honestly, that's kind of the joke. He's also the star pitcher of his Spaceball team, right? But he's kind of befuddled a lot, and he's kind of like an everyman. Meanwhile, we have the original caveman, Fred Flintstone.
Yep.
The original caveman. Like, let's get into history, people. Loudmouth and aggressive, and he's always scheming to improve his family's working class.
So we've
life.
got Braun versus future tech
Yes.
everyman.
Yeah, although George Jetson's probably not going to come with anything except for his foldable car, which is going to be really, really heavy. But I got to give this one to Fred Flintstone.
Absolutely.
Absa-dabadoo. Thank heaven we're through the first round. All right.
Actually, can we just speed through the rest of these?
Yeah, that was pretty good battles. Let's see what happens next.
So for this second round, the first matchup is going to be Homer versus Archie.
Homer Simpson versus Archie Bunker.
Homer
Yep.
Simpson versus Archie Bunker.
And remind us who Archie is.
From All in the Family.
Remind you who Archie Bunker is.
Remind
and then
me
Homer
who
Simpson
Archie
from The
Bunker
Simpsons.
is. Yeah, All in the Family, that show that
Kent, go
I've heard
first.
Joel reference lots of times, and that's pretty much it.
Homer Simpson.
were the days.
Homer Simpson was a boxer, a hitman, and assassin. And that's only a few of his 900 jobs. Archie Bunker is a racist. He's a racist everyone loves.
Also, we just saw a video where Homer couldn't die.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but Ken, he's not a racist. He only hates blacks, Hispanics, commies, gays, hippies, Jews, Catholics, women, liberals, and Polish Americans.
Oh my gosh.
Homer Simpson.
Homer Simpson.
Homer for the win. All right, next matchup is Dan Connor versus Herman Munster.
Ooh, both big guys, both dangerous guys. I'm gonna have to give this one. I'm gonna have to give this one to Herman Munster, strictly based on the fact that Dan had a heart attack, and Herman Munster, I don't think he has a heart to attack. I mean, he has a heart emotionally, but I think that he is the tougher one, and he's gonna beat Dan down.
Yeah, Herman Munster has someone else's heart. And so, it is reanimated. He can't die. It's Herman Munster. He can probably die.
He can probably die somehow, but I don't think it's going to be by the hands of Dan.
Of a motorcycle mechanic. Herman Munster.
Wow,
This is going to go so fast.
We are getting through these fast. This may be bad.
All right, next match is Pa Ingalls versus Dr. Jason Seaver.
Frontierman Spirit versus Psychiatrist?
Stay-at-home dad.
I'm just going to go ahead and write the answer.
Yeah.
Dr. Jason Seaver. It's Pa Ingalls. Yeah?
Yo, I mean, you want me to disagree?
We got to high five it.
Oh, yeah. It's not official until we high five. Baconsale.
All right, next match is Keith Mars versus Al Bundy.
Okay, now this is a match, I think.
No, ma'am. It is not a match.
No, ma'am.
Keith Mars has this all the way.
You think so, though?
I'm going to go more realistic on this because I tried to get creative. It didn't quite work out. Yeah, it's Keith Mars. He has weapon skills. Al Bundy is a shoe salesman. He could throw shoes, and that's about it.
But the thing
Why
is,
do you hate Keith Mars so much?
I don't hate Keith Mars. In fact, I've always said I want to have the relationship that Keith has with Veronica, with my daughters, but I want to have the mom around. Because,
Sure.
Yeah. But I'm going to have to give this one to Al Bundy. I think Al Bundy will be so intent on getting his glory back that he will defeat Keith Mars.
I think he'll run from Keith Mars and he'll try to hide, but Keith Mars is an expert tracker and he'll track him through the scent of his smelly shoes and his smelly hand. I think he will track him and he will kill him
friendly.
with his
That was
hand.
gross.
Well,
The gesture was grosser, really, than saying
Be grateful you're not here to see this, listener.
Keith Mars.
Jacob?
Keith Mars all the way.
All right.
Finally! Thank you!
That's what you get for making sense, finally.
I hate being logical.
It's so much fun.
Next match is Frank Costanza versus Mike Brady.
Wow. Those are two polar opposite dads. I think that Frank Costanza has the rage. I don't think Mike Brady has the rage. I'm going to give this one to Frank Costanza, strictly the fact that he'll go nuts on him. And well, actually, I want to read this real quick. So Frank Costanza has a phobia of spending silver dollars and strongly suffers from musophobia or fear of mice. But he has a genuine compassion for squirrels. He also wears sneakers while swimming.
Frank Costanza doesn't really like his family. I talked about how he knocked George out. He doesn't like his own son. In fact, Estelle, his wife, has knocked him out.
And you're bringing this up, and we should emphasize it again, because apparently in Kent's world, if they die, their family dies
and
too.
so they have to be willing to sacrifice all for family, in fact, maybe kill someone. Whereas Mike Brady loves his children so much he's willing to
That's true.
take in these other kids. In fact, you can't really be weak. You have to be a fighter to survive a presidential campaign and win, because he became president of the United States of America.
Mike Brady did?
President
No.
Mike
Is that
Brady.
movie? That's movie.
It's a TV movie
That's
that continues
not the TV
the
show.
series.
That's not a TV dad.
And he's a councilman in the show. So it continues until he's president, and he's named Father of the Year by a local newspaper. Father of the Year versus someone who will beat his son into a coma. Mike Brady.
No.
And he's a tough guy versus an old man that can get choked by a man's ear.
Kent, you realize, though...
I'm waiting.
No, you realize that if Mike dies, that means Cousin Oliver goes away, too.
Oh,
No one likes Cousin.
I hate Cousin Oliver.
I know.
Nope, sorry, I don't hate him that much.
All right. Any other argument, Joel?
I think it's rage.
It's rage versus fight for family.
Yep.
I'm going to rule with fight for family. This is Mike Brady. I think he's going to care too much about saving his family.
Fair. I'll accept that ruling, Judge.
Here's the story of a lovely
All right.
lady.
Next match is Tony, who's the boss, because he was the boss on George Bluth Sr.
That's a long name.
And
Just call him Michelli again.
Yeah, Maselli.
Miss Michelli
Tony
Tony
Maselli.
Michelli. It's not delivery, it's Michelli.
versus Carl Winslow.
Oh, so it's Tony Maselli versus Carl Winslow.
No, it's Tony Michelli versus Carl Winslow, obviously. That's what I said.
Now, here's the thing. In Family Matters, Steve creates a machine that makes Carl Winslow a ninja and many other things. Are we accepting that into canon? Like, he can actually be anything he wants. This is so stupid.
Wait, does it really turn him to a ninja?
Yeah, it does.
I just remember Stefan.
In a very special episode. No, anything they want. At one point, do they go to the past or something? Or they
you
turn into
kidding me?
ninjas. This is true.
I've looked up Carl Winslow twice now to see what he looks like. And then I forgot that I'd done him before. I'm like, oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah.
I think you're thinking of Urkel, because it has Bruce Lee Urkel here, but not Carl Winslow Ninja.
No, they go through the same machine. That's why that's what they do with the show when it became really, really stupid.
I don't think we need to use that machine.
It's part of the show.
Yeah, but it's not in the dome, maybe.
I'm sorry. I think Tony had this aspiring career. He got injured. Carl Winslow, if we're saying he can beat Danny Tanner, like he can shoot a gun, he's actually high ranking he was a sergeant, lieutenant, and then captain. He knows what he needs to do in order to have that kind of authority.
Carl Winslow.
These are good arguments.
Tony wasn't the boss in the show. If we want to talk about who's the boss,
No.
he was not the boss.
No, that's the whole argument. Didn't you say that?
Yes, in
I love
fact,
that
that's what I'm
episode.
going for.
No, that's the whole point of the show is you don't know who the boss is.
It's not Tony.
It could be Tony.
It's not Tony.
Because he's calling the shots on a lot of the things. He helps Angela.
but
Angela.
Community says it's Angela, doesn't it?
No, at the end, Abed's brain basically stops working.
Yeah, but
I thought Abed says Angela
They
at the
allude
end.
to the fact that it's
Yeah,
Angela.
we're talking about Community episode.
We all know
which
it's
is really funny.
Jonathan.
But here's the thing. Carl Winslow is the stereotypical cop. He has an avid love for donuts and junk food, and he has high blood pressure, which got dangerous because he tried to dodge dieting. Tony Maselli, he may have a shoulder injury, but he's in his prime, and he has a mop and a bat and ammonia and bleach, and he's going to take down Carl Winslow.
Yep, those are really handy against a gun.
Try running away when you have high blood pressure. He'll get winded.
Hey, guess what? You don't
He'll
need to
get
run
winded
away.
and start breathing
Guess
heavy,
guess
and
what you
that's
don't-
where the ammonia
guess what you
bleach
don't need to
comes
run
out.
when you have a gun.
He's not that great of a shot.
Actually, he is, because he was a police captain. You don't become like a bad shot and you're not, then all of a sudden a police captain.
Good shooting doesn't mean you get promoted to captain.
You should probably know a little bit of target practice when you're learning to be a cop.
If you're solving cases, you get promoted. Not if you're a good shot.
Solving cases, so actually like having a great mind instead of just being
You
a
know
cop
who shot Steve
loving
Urkel?
donut.
You know who shot Steve Urkel? Steve Urkel. He shot himself in the butt.
Is that in a very special episode of Family Matters?
It was actually. I think it was called The Gun.
This is a close one. I want to give it to Tony, but I think
No. Keep going with that instinct.
I think Kent's right with Carl. I mean, he's got the military experience, and
No, Carl doesn't have military experience.
what was it? What experience was it? I mean,
He's
besides being a cop,
He's
I
a
thought there was
Chicago
something
police.
else.
He works at the Chicago Police Department. He's
Sergeant, lieutenant, then captain.
Oh, okay. That you said that threw me off too. I thought he had a background as well. No, that doesn't change my answer though. No, I think it's Scarl.
Did you say Carl or Scarl?
I think it's Scarl.
Scarl!
All right, let's keep this crap going.
Baconsale.
Next match is Don Draper versus Sandy Cohen, one of the Cohen brothers that you don't hear much about.
Don Draper is
A pervert. Move on.
Don Draper is cutthroat. He will do what he has to do. He has stabbed so many people in the back and possibly killed people. Well, accidentally, but still, he has the taste for blood. I think Don Draper would do anything to protect his identity, and so he wants to get out of there as soon as possible with his life and go live somewhere else and create a Coke ad. So he's going to kill Sandy Cohen.
I hate to do this because we have one of the greatest TV dads versus like the worst TV dad ever. Don Draper would do anything to
Sandy
sack-
Cohen is one of the greatest TV dads
Dude,
ever.
watch the OC. You'll agree.
No,
like
I'm too busy watching Gilmore Girls.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm. There you
Pretty
go.
equivalent, actually.
Actually, it's not. Maybe you should try watching it.
Maybe you should try watching
I
Gilmore
have.
Girls.
What? Hold on. Nope. No. I think I'm the only one that can speak for both at this point. Stop it. Joel, stop it.
My plan has worked.
Stop it. I'm so mad right now. But as one who is... why am I all of a sudden talking about Gilmore Girls? Sandy Cohen will do anything for his family. Don Draper would actually not even care if his family...
Yeah, but he
cares,
looks like a tool, though, doesn't he?
He cares more for himself. Don Draper... or Dick Whitman is
And
his
who
name.
is more dangerous in an arena? Someone that cares about themselves and will cut someone else's throat and not care and steal their ad
man.
idea?
I
or
hate-
a surfing hippie lawyer
I hate to do this,
with
but
no
Don,
fighting experience.
Don Draper's going to win. God, I hate giving him the win.
Yes.
He belongs up there with like on the worst TV dads, really malicious
He's
TV
terrible.
dads.
He's a
Yeah.
terrible TV dad and a terrible character.
What did we do? Why did we put him in
What
here?
did we do, baby?
All right, next match is Hal 5000.
You can't do that, Jacob.
Wilkerson or something like that versus
You just say Hal. No one really knows Wilkerson. Just say Hal.
Fred Savage Flintstone.
Gosh. Trying to be funny
We didn't
again.
include the dad from Wonder Years. Dang, I forgot about
Oh,
him.
wow, yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't have lasted long.
So Hal Wilkerson, see, I'm turning into Jake.
Just
is
say
a
Hal.
Former rebel
Getting
and
tired.
a troublemaker. He's so like we said, he's afraid of snakes and clowns. Do you know where there's a lot of snakes? In the prehistoric age. I think Fred Flintstone had this
Now-
because
no.
you cannot survive the age of dinosaurs every single day and then fall to a bumbling fool, which is Hal.
Okay, you did this on the Disney villains bracket where you kept pulling the person I was rooting for into the arena of the other person instead of vice versa. You
Sure.
wouldn't even give vice versa a
Sure.
shot.
Okay.
So picture Fred Flintstone in an arena, Hunger Games style. He would be so weirded out by everything that's going on. He would be freaked out.
What are you talking about? Like a jungle arena? Fred Flintstone would be right at home.
If they put him in the city.
And who's a better bowler? I think that's what it comes down to.
Oh, Hal. Hal got a perfect game one time.
Really?
Well-
is he Twinkle Toes? Did he study ballet
Can he
to become
power
the
a
perfect
car
bowler?
with his feet?
In fact, it says he used ballet lessons to improve his game and win many championships. That is Fred Flintstone from the Hanna-Barbera wiki.
The what wiki?
Hanna-Barbera wiki.
Hanna-Barbera.
Hanna-Barbera.
Hanna-Barbera?
Jake, we're gonna
Do you not
educate
know
you.
Hanna-Barbera? They did all those cartoons.
Oh, yeah?
Like Huckleberry Hound and Fred Flintstone and George Jetson. Like all those are Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, and you know what's weird? So I'm going to take it to a weird spot. Okay, you
Please
guys
do.
ready?
Take it.
Fred Flintstone, he's Twinkle Toes when he's bowling because they'd be bowling basically to the death, right? And whoever lost the game would die. That's how they would play it. So Fred Flintstone would be doing
That's
the toe
not how
thing.
you play it?
Hal would be so fascinated with Fred's toes because he has a foot fetish. And it would distract him from his game. Fred would get the perfect game, and Hal would get about 290.
No, Hal would do.
Fred would
do
win the
laps.
game and be able to
I
crush
mentioned
him
before,
with the stone bowl.
He's an expert speed walker. There's a whole episode about him being amazing at speed walking. He'd be able to get away from Fred Flintstone when needed.
The speed walking?
But what I was going to say is the only edge.
Fred Flintstone
I gotta
powers
say-
his
I
car
gotta say-
with
I
his
know where you're
feet.
going. I know where you're going.
I don't know if you do.
Okay.
Because what I was going to say, it's a shame that George Jetson is not here fighting Hal because he literally has in his bio a fear, a terror for Rosie the robot from the Jetsons. Like that's one of his main fears.
Oh, that's cool.
He's terrified of Rosie
Except
the robot.
for the show's
that is too
crossover all the
bad.
time. Do you know what's also too bad? Being a speed walker when someone can propel a car
That's what I keep
every
saying.
day and run over a speed walker. It is Fred Flintstone easily. But I think it comes down to the bowling game, and I think it's the foot fetish that makes Hal lose.
I'm going with you on this, kid.
Yeah.
You
Things
always
are coming
pick Kent.
around.
Always, all the time you pick him.
Everything's coming up, Kent.
You are right. Next match is.
Are we doing another round real quick?
It's another round.
Yay!
In fact, we're in the what? Well, yeah, we're in the final four.
Final four. Who are the
Really
final
already?
four? Who are
Yeah.
the final four? Can you read those off?
Oh no, I lied. It's not final four.
Elite Eight.
Oh.
Darn it, it's 8.
Okay,
Yeah.
run it back.
All right, we're in the Elite 8.
Woo!
It's going to end sometime.
Let's get through them. We've been doing pretty quick.
Yeah.
First match: Homer Simpson versus Herman Munster.
Now, this is a good match.
Who will
Really
win?
good.
Because Homer
The
Simpson
man
is essentially immortal.
That's drawn and is immortal, never ages, can't be injured.
I'll tell you why it's also good. I actually don't know who would win this
Fallen
one.
in nuclear pits.
Homer can be hit by cannonballs and not get hurt. In fact, there was a whole episode
He
about
did have to
that.
retire,
He can
though.
survive in space. He can fall
Don't you
into
remember?
nuclear
Yeah,
waste.
If
and
he
is
took
okay.
one more bowling ball, he was going to die, and so he dodges out of the way right at the end of that episode. It's a very special episode of the.
It's always a special episode when you're trying to prove a point.
All right, Kent, you go first.
So Homer, his jobs, I'm just going to try to fight for him because I really want to push him through this. He's a amateur division professional arm wrestler, an attack dog trainer. He's been a bodyguard many times, a hitman, like I said, a Mexican wrestler, and a mob boss. And so with all
But
of
how is
his,
he going to defeat Herman Munster?
Yeah.
basically, I'm thinking they're going to punch each other until they get tired, and the cartoon character will win because,
But Herman Munster's
Why
practically
not?
a cartoon character. They do that little fast motion stuff.
yeah. I just
I'm going to
think-
give this one to Homer Simpson, too. And I say it because Homer Simpson is a nuclear engineer.
Oh,
He's going to understand how power works, and I believe he's not a
he
smart
only pushes
man.
a button though.
But here's
Yeah.
okay. Here's in my imagination. This is how it went. So there's an episode of The Simpsons when Homer finds out he has a crayon stuck up his nose that's jabbing into his brain.
Right.
They take the crayon out and he becomes a genius. In my mind, what's going to happen is Herman Munster is going to deck him. It's going to dislodge the crayon. He's going to figure out how to use Herman Munster's neck bolts to short his power and end up destroying Herman Munster.
And then when he gets electrocuted, he'll lose his brain cells again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. He'll fall down and the crayon will go back up his nose.
Love it.
Homer Simpson.
Nice. All right, next match is Pa Ingalls versus Keith Mars.
I cannot believe Paul Ingalls made it this far. I'm actually very pleased by that. And I think that the frontier spirit is going to dominate. I think that...
Wow. You hate Keith Mars.
I don't hate
He
Keith
never
Mars.
votes Keith.
I don't hate Keith Mars.
Why do you want Veronica to not have a dad?
I just think that... I
It's
think,
not a real dad. Spoiler alert.
well, no, it is.
Is it?
Well, we don't know. She tears up the paternity test.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In a very special episode.
In a very special episode of Veronica Mars. That's still getting used. But I think that Keith Mars is more obsessed with entertainment, such as music, movies, and TV. He'll be a little distracted, whereas Pa Ingalls will be in his element in the fight.
So you think Keith Mars is going to go to the fight dome to the death watching TV and music?
No, I think he'll just be thinking about, like, oh, my favorite jazz song. And then Pa Ingalls comes up with a pickaxe and a shovel.
Look,
And a bear trap.
Keith Mars has a gun.
Double barrel
right?
shotgun.
He's gonna show-
No,
he's gonna
Pa
show-
Ingalls would come with a gun.
Sure, they can both have guns.
He's got
but
a rifle.
Keith Mars has a gun, but
Well, he's
he'll-
got like an 1840 rifle.
Rifle versus handgun. What wins, Jacob?
at this.
handgun. When it's an 1840
From the
rifle.
long range?
Hold on, though. Keith Mars ran out of bullets in the first 2 rounds. And do you know what Pa Ingalls is? He's a woodworker.
Oh, no.
He has
What's
trees.
happening now?
He has trees everywhere, and he will build many weapons.
Are you going
trees.
Pa?
Oh, easily
Over Keith Mars?
Ingalls over Keith Mars.
I love how you're going to have to keep playing the Little House on the Prairie music.
And it'll just be the girl running down the hill.
Wow.
Wow, I did not see that coming, Kent.
I don't know why I've been defending Keith Mars so much, but hey.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a sleuth. I don't know. All right.
So dumb.
All right. Show's freaking weird.
Baconsale.
Next match is Mike Brady
Mike Brady.
versus Carl Winslow.
Carl Winslow.
I'm not
versus
gonna look
Mike
up who
Brady.
that is this
Brady
time.
Bunch versus Family Matters.
Yep. And this will decide who is in the final 4.
Wow.
I can't even. I've already used all my information.
Well, no, that's why we can go faster, because I feel like Mike Brady, architect, is not going to have the tools he needs to defend against.
Why wouldn't he? I mean, he's got a whole jungle if we're talking the Hunger Games here.
Yeah.
I love how the Hunger Games become any sort of battle arena.
I'm going to go with Mike Brady. I think Mike Brady is in better shape. I think by this point, Carl Winslow is exhausted. And I think he's going to go down to Mike Brady.
Are you just assuming these are sequential fights?
Well, that's what Kent brought up before, and I kind of like that idea.
And actually, this is, I think, a good matchup.
That changes it for sure. If he's got high blood pressure and is obese and whatever else.
Mike Brady he's an architect, right? He's a master
I like
architect.
how we change the rules as we go.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Carl Winslow, throughout the show, he actually tries to build things because he's very cheap. But as it says in the wiki, usually ends in disaster. Anytime he tries to build something. So they'll each try to build a booby trap, and Carl Winslow will die by his own.
You think so?
Mike Brady for the win.
There we go.
This is going pretty well.
Yeah, and you guys are agreeing on that one. That's surprising.
It's the story of a man named Brady.
Next match, Don Draper versus Fred Flintstone. That's freaking weird. Mad Men versus Flintstone.
Yes.
I mean,
So Don
what kind
Draper,
of world is this?
I just see Don Draper. He does have that history of doing what he needs to. I think a lot of his experience is in the boardroom, and I think that Fred Flintstone works in a quarry. He's much more tough. He has a club. What would Don Draper come with? A bottle of scotch and a poster?
Here's the Joel, man, stop it. Here's the thing. Don Draper
Stop making good
would
arguments.
be working for Slate because he would want to create advertising for them. Fred Flintstone works on the ground as a crane operator.
This is turning into a pitch show.
I know. And while they're in the office, while Don Draper's talking to Slate, nobody likes them. The crane drops, boom, rocks everywhere. Don Draper dies.
But this is the Hunger Games.
No, but I could
Same
see him.
thing.
Also, if he comes with Dino, Don Draper's going down.
Can you do a Dino sound? It's pretty good. Fred Flintstone.
Fred Flintstone.
Fred Flintstone.
I think we both just hate Don Draper so much.
He's just he deserved to go far because he is very ruthless. But
I just realized who our final two are going to be.
wait, the final two or the final four?
Oh, yeah, the final four already, but yeah.
All right, who's the final four?
Final four.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
First one, Homer Simpson,
Okay.
Pa Ingalls, or Charles Pa Ingalls.
You can just say Pa.
We'll do
Eagles.
full names now that we're in a final four, right? Mike Brady, wish I had his middle name, and Fred Flintstone.
Wow, that's actually a pretty good set of dads.
Yeah.
So who is the first matchup here?
Homer and Pa.
Oh,
My dad's tougher than your dad.
Pa Ingalls, in real life and in the show, he purposely moved his family to Indian territory. He did not care about danger. This is a man who just wanted to get away, and
he had wanderlust.
He had wanderlust, is what they call it. He is a hunter-trapper, he's a carpenter, and he's a farmer. Homer's done a lot of different things, but at the end of every episode, he forgets how to do them, and he keeps on taking multiple jobs. So he doesn't know all these jobs at once. Pa Ingalls, he's... also, he works with explosives. And so I think he is able to destroy that cell animation that is Homer Simpson. For me, it's Pa Ingalls.
I've seen Homer Simpson fight, and he's a pretty ruthless fighter.
Well, no, but he can barely lift his arms. He can take a hit.
No, didn't you see him in the Peter Griffin Homer Simpson battle?
Yeah, but that was a Family Guy episode, and I don't watch that. That's not canon for me. And it's past season 11, not canon.
Past season 11?
Yeah,
You're
Simpsons-
discounting like 60% of it?
Do you
Absolutely.
want to know how Pa Ingalls
Everyone
died?
should.
Age 66, cardiovascular disease. It's wearing on his heart, all these battles. I don't think he's going to make it. I think that...
Age 66, so maybe 30 years after this competition?
Well, let's just face it. Pa Ingalls is going to pass away and start on a highway to heaven.
And then keep going.
Maybe as an
beautiful
angel. As a beautiful long-haired angel. I got to give this one to Homer Simpson, though. I feel like he is the better fighter. I feel like he would defend his family. Like, he'd be more rabid about defending his family. Pa Ingalls has to do that every day. It's become commonplace. Homer Simpson's going to give him the fight of his life.
Homer's rarely ever had to make a hard decision in his life, and Pa Ingalls has had to put down lame horses and or cartoon characters. Homer Simpson is a lame character at this point, and Pa Ingalls is going to put him down.
I don't know how to quantify, like...
Are you timing these anymore?
No, not for these. I don't know how to quantify, like...
Because here's the thing.
Like
it's
a
almost
character from the 1840s versus a cartoon.
a cartoon character. Because cartoon is almost like Herman Munster. It almost seems impossible to beat, but there's got to be a way to
But
win.
there are ways.
And
I just don't think it's with Pa Ingalls.
Oh, I totally do.
The trouble is how immortal they've made the character of Homer, right? Like he's endured and survived so many things.
Okay, here's what Paul Ingalls will do. He's like, hey, Homer, come here, go down in that mine. And then do you know what Paul Ingalls does? He's the fastest hole driller in the county, in the mines.
In the county.
And so he would say, go
This
get those.
isn't canon.
He'd say, hey, go get those donuts in that mine. And then right when he does, he'd pull an Armageddon and just start drilling until Homer is drilled through.
No.
He's drilling Homer?
That's not even canon.
It's not canon.
No.
It's like we're talking about House of Mouse here. We are inventing canon at this point.
The fastest driller in the West. What was that about?
No, in the county.
No, fastest driller in the mine.
Does it say that?
Yep,
Dang it.
in the wiki.
I still don't buy it as like that's
Dang,
how
it sounds like he just.
No, I was going to say I didn't know it was canon,
just
but at the same
surrendered.
time, I don't see Homer laying down and allowing him to.
Do you know what he'd do?
Stab a drill
this
through
is
him.
what we would do. Michael Landon, a.k.a. Charles Ingalls. Jake just took off his headphones. He would have donuts on the drill because they'll have holes in
Paul
them.
Ingalls never seen it.
No.
He's never seen a donut.
He'd say, hey, Homer, eat these donuts. And Homer would be like, and he'd think if they drop, and then he'd go right through the throat.
Paul
The
Ingalls
drill would go right
That's
through his
pretty
throat.
good. That's pretty good.
Paul Ingalls would see donuts, be like, "What are these?" Take one bite and be like, "These are great." Eat them and then die of cardiovascular disease at age 36, not 60.
That's rude. Nah, it's
They're deep fried. They're trans
Paul
fats.
Ingalls because mine was way more graphic.
Your graphic one wins just for that.
Oh, we can't take out Homer Simpson
I think we have to.
Paul Ingalls.
Yeah, but listen to how he dies.
Oh, man.
So stupid.
So cool.
All right, we've got Mike Brady.
He made it so far.
He made it stupid far versus Fred Flintstone.
Mike Brady versus Fred Flintstone. It's hard. This is so ridiculous because like the cartoon characters, they keep seeming immortal, but like I don't think Fred Flintstone is as immortal as Homer Simpson would have been.
You're right.
But when it comes to Mike Brady and it comes to a man with a club who works in a quarry all day, who's a great bowler, who could smash down anything that Mike Brady could build, and I've got to give this one to Fred Flintstone.
You do have to take Fred's temper into account because he always loses his temper.
He does.
And when you lose your temper, not only do you become angry, you also become unpredictable, meaning you make a lot of stupid moves.
No. See, Mike Brady would try to sit Homer down and be like, well, Homer, this is what you should do. I think you should stop hitting the club to the face. Done with. The guy has legs of steel.
Mike Brady does?
No. Fred Flintstone. He lifts up his car, I think, at one point in the opening credits, doesn't he?
Well, I mean, he lifts it up and carries it while he runs.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you forgot that last time.
I did. I just actually thought of that now. I was trying to think of the opening credits.
I don't know. I mean, look, I want to agree with you. I really, really do.
No, you
but
don't.
To play the devil's advocate here, Fred Flintstone, he became a police officer at one point, and the police officers have to uphold the law. Who makes the laws in this country? The President of the United States of America.
Okay,
Mike Brady becomes the president. This is canon in
No.
Brady Bunch, and it's not even in the movies.
It's in the movies.
It is not in the movies.
President of the United States in the show?
Yeah, because they have a continuing special. Yeah, like 15 years later, they created an extension.
I don't buy that.
Look it up. It's
No.
on the Brady Wiki.
But Fred Flintstone wasn't even a police officer for that long.
Yeah, one episode, but he'd still uphold the law. I have to go Mike Brady on this
Part-time. Fred and Barney joined Bedrock Police Force for a time as part-time police officers.
All right. I'm going Fred Flintstone.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. I just really want to fight for Mike Brady.
So wait, our finals are Fred Flintstone and who? Pa Ingalls?
Pa Ingalls.
And my dad can beat up your dad.
Yeah, that's perfect for it, really. Man, what a weird thing
That
the
is
whole
so
this
bizarre.
is.
Pa Ingalls and Fred Flintstone.
You know what's really weird is not having anybody who is good at murder in this whole bracket.
That's why
right?
that's a whole separate bracket we have.
Yeah. I mean, it's all right. So, Pa Ingalls, Fred Flintstone. Take a moment, choose your candidate.
Oh, this is tough.
This is tough.
Okay.
You gonna go first?
Yeah.
All right.
I would like to give a lot of credit to both of these dads. I think they're both great fathers.
Yep. Most of the fathers on here were actually really fantastic fathers. Like
Especially
almost
Don
every
Draper.
single bio says devoted father, and I was like, that's great.
I do think that Pa Ingalls, being a hunter, but not only a hunter, a trapper, would have the upper hand of Fred Flintstone, who basically you know when he's coming. He is so loud. His car makes so much noise. All he does is yell. It wouldn't be that hard to find him and trap him, which is what Pa Ingalls does. And to save a little bit, or what, and Mary in the family.
Do you know any of their names?
Little bit and Mary. Mary goes blind at one point. I just remember that episode. It's a very special episode. And Charles had to kill a man that was once a cartoon character, a caveman, a time traveling caveman in this very special episode. But I think he would trap him, and well, look, he would use javelin and his buckshot to take out Fred Flintstone.
No.
All right, Joel.
I think that.
Do you like how I got all solemn?
Yeah, that was a little weird. So here's the thing about Pa Ingalls. Plot twist.
Besides the cardiac?
Yes, he didn't write his own story. This was his daughter's perception of him. This was Laura Ingalls Wilder's perception of what her father could be. And it may be a little idealized because I feel
they're all TV characters, so they're all fictional. I just want you to know.
In the end, he's just a man. That's all he is. He's not a cave man. And I think,
like the caveman burger. It's more than just a burger.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's going to be sad to lose little Mary, Laura, Carrie, and Grace, and his wife Caroline. But I feel like Pa Ingalls has a very limited knowledge of what he can do. It's very based in reality, whereas Fred Flintstone, they were basically coming up with all sorts of cool things to make it modern, but in the prehistoric era. I think he's very resourceful. I mean, he uses a dinosaur as a garbage disposal. Come on. And an elephant for a shower. He's a resourceful guy. He knows what he needs to do. He works in a quarry. He drives his car every day with his legs. One kick from Fred Flintstone's legs, Pa Ingalls' ribs are crushed.
He can't even lift his legs.
Twinkle toes? That's your argument.
Not in this argument. Look, he works in a quarry, but is he the best mine driller in the quarry? No, Pa Ingalls is the best mine driller.
Oh, you know what? Drilling is essentially standing there and moving a machine. He's literally picking up
a
stuff.
machine that is a literal spike.
No, okay. So first of all, his feet.
Oh, and do you know who doesn't like to work?
Not Homer Simpson.
Every time that work bell rings to go home, Fred Flintstone
To his family, who he loves.
Oh, you don't think Pa Ingalls loves his family?
No, well, the real Pa Ingalls, he had to promise his wife that he'd stop moving around because he was.
That's such a lie.
No, it's true.
Okay,
like in the real Pa Ingalls, he kept moving and moving and moving, and he finally had to. His wife made him promise, no, let us settle here so our children can get a decent education. He was more concerned about himself and travel than his family.
Pa Ingalls, he loves taking people in, and he would adopt Pebbles and race her right after he kills Fred.
No,
if you can survive,
no, the whole family dies. Betty.
No, he would take her because
Wilma and Pebbles have to die. That's the rule you made. You made this bed. Now sleep in it.
Pa Ingalls becomes king of the Hunger Games, and he would choose to adopt Pebbles, and may even take Dino in too. He is that good of a dad. And if we're going as good as a great father and a great fighter with skills, it has to be Pa Ingalls.
Pa Ingalls.
I love it. Pa Ingalls. I love how we're calling him Pa Ingalls, not Charles.
Okay. Fred Flintstone's feet, after running that long and after doing all those other things, are basically impenetrable. Basically.
So, you're talking about, you argued about Fred Flintstone's legs for 10 minutes.
No, his feet are impenetrable. And his outfit is much more suited towards camouflage than Pa Ingalls.
Camouflage, he wears orange.
With black stripes. Or black spots.
But you also thought Hal Wilkerson could beat him.
Yeah. A very weak man.
Don't bring up other battles. I have to adapt them accordingly. He didn't want to bring up Tinker Toes.
Tinker Toes, which I
never
said.
I think Fred's interests include bowling, playing pool, golf, poker, and lounging around the house and killing Pa Ingalls. It says all that right there.
You don't survive savages and Millie and her gossiping mom.
He took ballet lessons. Not only has he brute strength, he's graceful as well.
This is tough. Yeah.
Jacob, you're about to pick the winner of the TV dads. My dad can beat up your dad.
Do you want Fred Flintstone to win?
Fred Flintstone or Pa Ingalls?
Or do you want the nicest, most generous father?
We all love Pa Ingalls, but Fred Flintstone is the toughest.
Nobody even likes him. He's annoying. I can't watch that show because he's annoying.
How much do you watch Little House on the Prairie?
I would watch it every day.
And sleep. Because it's a boring show.
Because his voice, that's why I've been so soothing. His voice is so soothing.
Do his voice.
Even as an angel.
Do his voice.
I don't know his voice. Even as an angel, he could come back and take out Fred Flintstone. There's multiple varieties
As an angel?
of Paul Ingalls.
No, that's a whole other
Then he's
TV show.
immortal.
You brought it up. You
He's
brought
not
it
a
up in
father.
another argument.
I did, but it was a joke. It wasn't an argument.
Oh, yeah, now it's
it
a
wasn't
joke.
part of the fight.
Sure.
All right, guys. This is tough, but I think we're going to have to give this to Fred Flintstone. He's a caveman. He is pretty tough. Yeah, there might be traps or something, but if Fred does get his hands on
He's
Pa,
got strong legs.
I mean,
And
yeah.
a club.
Yeah, I think Pa's done for.
Pa Ingalls. That was a good fight, Pa Ingalls.
It was.
I
loved it.
So there you go. The ultimate. My TV dad can beat up your TV dad. Thank you, Spencer Michael Myers, for suggesting this. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, Fred Flintstone. He is the ultimate winner. And you can play along and submit your own bracket and let us know where we were wrong at baconsale.com or on our Facebook page or at Baconsale on Twitter. But if you want to find me, you can find me at 76Joel on Twitter, or you can find me at QuickWits. They perform every Saturday night at the Midville Performing Arts Center. For more details, go to qwcomedy.com or go to the QuickWits Facebook page.
If you want to find me on Twitter and Instagram, it's at Kenny3DD. If you want to see my movie reviews, it's ShowtimeShowdown.com.
You can find me on Twitter at Jacob A. Rogers. Also find Baconsale on Twitter at Baconsale.
Until next time, who's your daddy?
Oh, I'm watching the video too. I don't think I ever saw this. They look like girls. They do. What are some weird looking kids?
Just get to the chorus. You have so many relationships this life. Only one or two.
You're reading the
last.
lyrics.
You go through all the pain and strife. You turn your back and they're gone so fast. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, hit that note.
Oh yeah. Hold on to one. Why are you playing the whole song?
It's worth it.
You'll start losing your hair. Can you tell me who will still care?
This middle one's kind of adorable, though, right?
No, the middle one was the
Is he
star.
recording it?
Yeah.
Here, wait, here it is.
The other
Here it
one
is.
looked like a
Here it
horse.
Bop, 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 doo, wop.
Do yep, scap.
You don't know Hanson?
No, it didn't sound right.
How does it supposed to sound?
It's like, bop, talking about, bop. I don't remember, actually. Is that not right?
I like how he called me on that and then
Yeah,
had no way to back
you're
it up.
wrong, but I don't remember.
This is not saying I can recreate it. I can notice it sounds wrong.
Bow wow. Bow. That's
exactly right. That's exactly right.
Bop bop scop. Bop do yep scop. It's a lot of scops.
There's no. I don't think there is a scop in there. There's no S's. It's bop 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 doo wop doo da bop doo wop da da doo yeah.
It's ba dooba dop. Ba dooba dop. Ba dooba dop.
I was right.
Yeah, you were right.
Talking about you.
There's no words there. It's just bop 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 doo wop doo da da doo
Ba dooba dop. Ba dooba dop.
doo. If you've got FOMO, follow us.
Oh, the mummy
not a
sucks.
thing.
Oh,
It's
I
not
don't
a
like
thing.
anything.
Not
Blah,
a thing.
blah, blah. Wonder Woman isn't tall enough. Blah, blah, blah. A lot of kids.
Stop. Stop. Family friendly, both of you. Save it for the show. Save it for the show. Kent's on intro and outro. Kent's on intro and outro. Kent's on intro and outro. He better have something good, or I'll punch him in the face.
I don't.
Then it's gonna be awkward.
Very special boys had a great career, right?
Oh boys, you boys.
Oh, boys.
They're still around. You know me so well. It's no wonder I love you. MC Hammer was cool.
He was so cool.
Joel
I was
did.
talking about his practice.
Yeah, right. I want
Keith
Matlock
Morris.
to die. I can just say things
right.
and make them true.
Ray Ramon.
Raymond.
David.
Ma, Raymond.
And Carl's going to come up behind him and Urkel him.
Urkel him.
He's gonna Urkel him? What does that even mean? That's
Ask your next date.
Did I do that?
What on earth is this?
Something's dying.
What will we do, baby, without us?
Absa-dabadoo.
Jake's apparently racist too. It's not official until we high five. Baconsale.
Show's freaking weird.
Baconsale.